at the YMCA to interview Miss Preeti about her restaurant, Cheeni.
We're going to be talking about the art of space because she's in this tiny restaurant here at the Y.
Alright, so we're here in the restaurant and Miss Preeti is going to show us around.
Hello.
Hello.
No problem.
What can I do for you?
Do you want to talk a little bit about your restaurant and show us some of the things? We can also ask, should we just ask them?
Yeah, we could ask some questions while
we'll
we're...
do the interview while we're over
Okay,
here. All right.
sounds
Yeah.
good.
Oh, first of all,
Leah and Natalia, this is Cameron. Cameron's
Hi.
our
Hello.
head baker.
all right, so first of all, what is your name?
Preeti Waas.
Okay, and when did your restaurant move here?
Well, we opened here on the 1st of March,
Wow.
2021.
Getting straight to it, what's it like to work at the Y where there's like gym people and there's a swimming pool and all that stuff?
I think it's pretty cool, actually. The reason for that is, first we have a built-in customer base.
Right.
Right, and so that's a really big, that has a big impact, because anytime you open a retail establishment, the first question is, if you build it, will they come?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the people were already here. We came after the people. And so there's definitely an advantage to having a built-in customer base.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, you know, when it's on really hot days, I can look over there and look at the water and feel like,
Yeah.
maybe I can cool off a little bit. Yes.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that we're actually serving like Indian and American food inside of a Y, which could be strange sounding to people. But it's because Indian food is just so nutritious. It actually makes sense to have it after a workout than a smoothie.
Yeah.
I guess that answered right our next question.
Oh,
What
okay.
made you choose to serve Indian food in a gym setting? But that makes sense that it's definitely nutritious and yeah, it is really great food to have.
It is.
Sure.
Because, just so to give you an example, right, on our menu you'll see our tiffin items, and tiffin is like a heavier snack, light lunch in India, and we serve a lot of South Indian items. And South Indian items like idli and sambar, or like kottu parantha, or the veg uttapam. So these are made with a batter, not the kottu parantha, but the other two. They're made with a batter that is fermented rice and lentils. So fermenting it together, fermenting rice and lentils together, and then grinding it into a batter. Fermenting it means that you're creating the probiotics that are really good for your gut health.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Not only that, it actually breaks down the carbs in the rice by fermenting it.
Wow.
Not only that, then because it has the lentils, it's heavy on protein, and then it's actually cooked. It's steamed. There's no fat even in an idli. So it's a very complete meal, and it replenishes everything that your body needs after you've worked out. And because Indian food is based off of Ayurvedic principles, you're actually not supposed to put anything cold in your body after you've raised your body temperature by working out. Doing that is actually counterproductive to what your body needs.
Yeah, my grandma always makes uttapam when we come there after we go on like a long walk or something. She always makes it when we come back or like for breakfast and so.
And now you know why.
Yeah,
Because you're replenishing what you've used, like the fuel that you burned while you were working out or walking or whatever, is now being replenished by food instead of having your body shut down with the cold.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So, when you think of your kitchen space, what are the important things that you want there?
So we actually don't have a full kitchen here. It's more of a bakery space, and we only have we have appliances that allow us to fulfill our menu items, if you would. But most of the Indian food is cooked offsite in a commissary kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And that is twofold. The reason for that is twofold. One is not everybody likes the smell of Indian food cooking. So when people walk into the YMCA, they can smell baking and they like the smell of it.
Okay.
But we cook the Indian food off-site, and we then serve it here, so that it takes care of that.
Okay, so where is that space?
That's in North Raleigh.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. And how is space important in this kitchen? Just because it's smaller than like a full restaurant.
It's
kitchen?
actually so much more efficient. So what that means is, as far as the business plan is concerned, now Cameron is unusual in that she does the work of 3 people. She does the work of 3 people.
Yeah.
But because she's extremely efficient, she's a really good planner. But because the space is what it is, she's able to bake as well as serve customers,
Wow.
as well as take the orders.
That is so impressive. That's
Right?
amazing.
That's awesome.
So instead of like a regular restaurant where there's back of house, front of house, we're just house. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually very efficient.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So what is it like running a restaurant in a smaller space? I know you talked a little bit about this, but can you kind of walk us through that experience?
Sure. So while it might be limiting in what we are able to do, that also means that we're able to keep our product moving a lot faster, and we make less so that we only sell what we make, and we have less waste, less carbon footprint that way. We just don't have a lot of waste.
Yeah.
We sell what we make, and then we can do it all over again.
It sounds like having a smaller space makes it like tighter, like your schedule
Yes.
and like your planning, which seems easier. You have less of a randomized thing. It's more pinpoint.
It's more specific, it's more intentional. Everything we do has to be intentional to use every inch of space that we have here.
Okay.
Sure.
So those are the benefits.
Yes.
What are the difficulties, if any?
So difficulties, I wouldn't call them difficulties, I'd call them disadvantages.
Disadvantages. Okay.
Only because, then you'll have people come up and what we serve is not enough because they're used to Indian restaurants, and they ask us, do you make this and do you make that? And can you make dosas on site? And can you make naan on site? And can
Yeah.
so they want everything that you would get at an Indian restaurant in a tiny cafe space.
Yeah.
That's not possible. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to keep our offerings very seasonal,
Oh, right.
right?
Yeah.
And then we also make what we make, and by the time people are getting bored of a certain thing, we just switch it up and go to the next thing.
Yeah.
I bet it makes it easier to value, I guess, quality over quantity.
And that's precisely what we do. Thanks for pointing that out, because for us, quality supersedes everything.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's
Makes
great.
sense. Do you have any advice for like our readers or any other people about using their kitchen space? Because you have to think about everything you do here. So what advice?
Especially those in apartments with smaller space.
That's a good point. So, as far as advice, I would say if you had a menu plan, for instance, if you on a Sunday or on a Saturday knew what you would be making for the rest of the week, then you could purchase only that much produce, or then you could go to the farmer's market and purchase just for that week and not have any waste. So you're
Yeah.
utilizing the space that you have, and you don't have 3-year-old spices hiding in the back of the cabinet. So
Yeah, so what you're saying is it is possible to cook in a smaller kitchen setting. I think we have both met so many people that don't cook because of, they have a smaller kitchen setting and they feel like that holds them back, but you're saying that it is possible.
not only is it possible, it's actually more efficient. And if you plan it right, for instance, if you say during early fall, right, if you find a whole chicken on sale, and then you can boil the chicken, then you have the chicken stock from it that you can make soup with. You can break down the chicken and you can make chicken salad with it, or you can put it in a casserole, or you can make curry chicken buns or whatever. So bottom line is you can streamline what you're going to make, and that way it's less food waste as well.
Yeah. Even for those in a bigger kitchen setting, that's still great advice. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I guess before we conclude the interview, do you mind showing us around like some of the appliances that you use a lot? What
Not at
dishes
all.
those are used?
So this is our granddaddy espresso machine. We purchased it with the space because it's rather large. And actually, if someone's opening a coffee shop or a cafe, that's going to be one of the larger purchases they make, because espresso machines are incredibly expensive.
Okay.
Like a good one costs as much as a car.
Wow.
Whoa!
$15,000. Not kidding.
That's crazy.
So that's our espresso machine. These are grinders, and you have to have specific grinders for espresso machines because the grind size is different. A sink is very, very important because we want to keep everything washed and clean. And in a restaurant kitchen, you have different sinks for different purposes. You don't cross-contaminate between them. So, of course, you have our refrigeration. Got to keep things cold. Can't let them not go bad, right? And this is our what we call our sandwich line. So it has ingredients in here.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah. And as you can see, we don't keep a lot in here because we don't want things to go bad quickly. So we don't we don't over make, and that's why it's less waste.
That's great.
And then all this gets cleaned and sanitized every day. We've got our ovens, big ovens. And this is what's called a speed rack. So as we take pans out of the oven, and that's a little warm. That's our curry chicken bun, which is actually delicious. And then thanks to Cameron's constant list making, this is where she tells me what we need.
Oh, that's so great.
That is
And
awesome.
that is a really good tip, right, for people as well, that keep a list like that on your kitchen wall or something.
Yeah.
The side of your refrigerator, whatever. And then,
That's good advice.
yeah. And then come on back. This is what we call the dish pit.
Whoa.
So, freezer, ice machine. Nice to have ice available to us.
Yes.
And this is a dish
So
pit.
cool.
So all restaurant kitchens have what's called a 3-bay sink because you wash in one, you rinse in the other, and you sanitize in the third one.
What does sanitize mean? Because at home I just wash and rinse and I dry.
Yeah, so we are required to sanitize, which means we're required to kill all the bacteria. At home, we wash dishes with really hot water, and that also sanitizes, but in a restaurant setting, by the health department rules, we do use a chemical sanitizer
Okay.
to finish that sanitizing process.
Okay.
Just so we don't kill people on accident. Minor
Yeah.
detail.
Makes
Yeah,
sense. Makes sense.
Wow.
This is so
some-
cool.
Yeah.
But you can see how small it is and how well the space gets used.
Yeah,
For sure.
every inch is.
Every inch.
And that's just such a great use of space, probably for an environment too. You're not unnecessarily
Exactly.
building more stuff. And
Yeah,
to really give us
exactly.
an
Yeah.
environment.
And I love how you still manage to have this space for standing, so like
Yes.
Yeah,
it's not
it's really-
cluttered,
yeah.
it's just well used.
It is. I will say that when we inherited this space, it was quite bad. So we have spent a lot of time scrubbing, and we're very, very we're sticklers for cleanliness and
It
everything
is,
being
yeah.
sanitized.
That's so cool.
Yes. I mean, look at our drains. You won't even find crusty stuff around
Yeah,
the drains or
Yeah.
something.
Clean
It's
and
because
beautiful.
we have to keep it. I say we have to, not just that. You can go to several restaurant kitchens and you will not want to eat in those restaurants again. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, it's very important to us to keep everything clean, sanitized, because there's people who can cook really good food. Like there's 10,000 people who make fantastic food at home, right? But are they qualified to cook and serve and safely
Right.
store food
Right.
and serve it to the public
Yeah.
and know that it's going to be safe for consumption? Big difference there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then this is more of a tip just for me,
Yeah.
but do you have any tips on cleaning in the house? And I feel like cooking is so fun, but the cleaning is really a big part. My mom always tells me that.
It is a big problem, right? The one tip I would give you, and this is something that I had to learn, it didn't come naturally to me, I had to learn it, was you clean as you go along.
Yeah.
If
so
you leave
that's
everything
why
for the end,
Yeah.
it seems monumental. And then at that time, it's like, do I sit down and enjoy my dinner? And once I've eaten, I don't want to get back up
Yes.
and clean the kitchen. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So if you clean as you go along, one tip I'll tell you is keep a bowl handy for all your vegetable peelings and your trash and stuff. If you keep that on the counter, then that way it all stays contained, and you can just tip the bowl into the trash at the end instead of constantly opening the
I like
trash.
that.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And
I
that-
love that idea.
Small little thing, it makes a big difference.
For sure. Do you have anything else to add
For
for
your
just the interview?
readers,
Yeah, anything you want to tell?
That we forgot to ask about?
what I would say is give different cuisines a chance, and not just your chicken tikka masala or your naan bread or your chai tea latte. Just
Yeah.
give different cuisines a chance, and it's what really makes America, right?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.